the world held its breath when Odyssey Marine Exploration announced the discovery of a huge treasure, codenamed the Black Swan. 17 tons of silver coins were brought to the surface. Many believed the Merchant Royal had finally been found. But no, the truth was much more sinister. It was the Spanish warship Nuestra Señora de las Mercedes. A legal battle ensued, and a U.S. court forced Odyssey to return the entire treasure to Spain. The case was a valuable lesson. Finding treasure is one thing, keeping it is another. Hope glimmered again in March. The fishing vessel's spirited lady happened to pull up a giant anchor about 20 miles off Land's End. Experts confirmed it was a typical 19th century Admiralty pattern longshank anchor, consistent with the Merchant Royal's size. Although it has been argued that it is a Dutch anchor, the discovery has significantly narrowed the search area. Now, in 2014 and 2015, the hunt has entered a new chapter with unprecedented technology. Multibeam Services, a British marine technology company led by Nigel Hodge, has officially stepped in. Unlike treasure hunters of the past, Hodge's team consists of former fishermen who know the local ocean currents, combined with millions of pounds worth of unmanned underwater vehicles, AUVs. These robots can dive to depths of up to comb meters, scanning every inch of the seabed with high-resolution sonar. To quote Nigel Hodge reenacted, "This is not a flash gold rush. We will spend 20 and 20 scouring high-chum square miles of seabed. We will find it." They are not just looking for gold. They are looking for answers to history. But the challenge is not only natural. Even if the Merchant Royal is found, another war will begin on land. Who is the real owner of the treasure? Is it England, where the ship was built and owned? Is it Spain? The original owner of the gold and silver used to pay the army. Or is it the salvage team that spent millions of dollars to find it? The precedent of the Black Swan shows that Spain will not easily give up its rights, based on the concept of sovereign immunity, even if it is a merchant ship carrying out state duties. Nearly 20 years have passed. The gold bars of the Merchant Royal still lie there, buried deep in the cold sand of the Atlantic. They are a witness to human greed, to the cruelty of war, and to the destructive power of nature. With Multibeam Services technology, 2015 may be the year the veil of secrecy is finally lifted. But until then, Merchant Royal remains the El Dorado of the ocean, a glittering, alluring, and dangerous dream that beckons those who dare to challenge the seas. In the history of human navigation, the ocean has always been a place that holds the darkest secrets. But there is a secret, a legend that has haunted treasure hunters for nearly 20 years. It is not just a ship, it is a treasure worth more than £1 billion lying cold at the bottom of the sea. People call it El Dorado of the ocean. Its name is Merchant Royal. Let's go back in time to September 1914. Off the coast of Land's End, the westernmost part of England, a Bay-Chumton sea monster was struggling to fight a fierce storm. In its belly was a large amount of gold and silver that could change the fate of an empire. But fate had other plans. Today, we'll examine the most expensive shipwreck of all time, explore the fateful decisions of its captain, and follow the most cutting-edge search efforts of the 19th century. The story begins not in a storm, but in the blazing sunshine of Cadiz, Spain, in the summer of 1914. The Merchant Royal, an armed merchant ship built at London's prestigious Deptford shipyard in 1914, is anchored there. After 3 years of trading in the West Indies, the ship is old. Its hull leaks, its timbers are rotten with barnacles, and it is in dire need of a major overhaul. Its captain is John Limbry, a seasoned and ambitious merchant. He knows his ship is no longer in the best shape, but in Cadiz, an unexpected event occurs, presenting Limbry with an irresistible temptation. Image: graphic simulation of a burning ship in the harbor. Black smoke billowing. VOA large Spanish ship, tasked with carrying salaries for Bamui. Home soldiers fighting in Flanders, Belgium, suddenly caught fire in the harbor. This money was the lifeblood of the Spanish army. Without it, mutiny would break out. Spanish officials desperately searched for an alternative, and they saw the Merchant Royal. Limbry was faced with a gamble. He knew his ship was leaking badly, but the freight for this huge cargo promised a huge profit, adding to the fortune he had already accumulated. Greed, or perhaps the overconfidence of a veteran seafarer, made Limbry nod. The cargo loaded on board was a veritable treasure, even by today's standards. Historical records show 100 pounds of gold, about 45 tons, 400 Mexican silver bars, and 500 pieces of 8 silver coins. The total value, estimated at current prices, is over £1 billion. Merchant Royal set sail, carrying the weight of both the English and Spanish empires, bound for London. In September 1641, Merchant Royal and her sister ship Dover Merchant entered the English Channel. The weather changed abruptly. The huge waves of the Atlantic began to batter the aging ship. The sheer weight of gold and silver in the holds made Merchant Royal heavy and slow to react to the waves. The wooden seams began to loosen. Water rushed in. Inside the ship, the crew fought desperately with the chain pumps. But disaster followed disaster. The pumps failed. The rising water was unstoppable. The El Dorado was dying. Limbri ordered a distress signal. The Dover Merchant bravely approached in the rough seas to assist. At that crucial moment, Captain Limbri faced a terrible internal struggle. Records say that he initially refused to abandon ship. He declared that he would rather die with the wealth he had spent his life accumulating than return empty-handed. But as the cold seawater rushed over the deck, his survival instincts took over. Limbri and Bornmoy sailors climbed into the lifeboats and were picked up by the Dover Merchant. But Moitham other men were not so lucky. They sank to the bottom of the sea, along with the ship and its legendary treasure. The last recorded position was Muri leagues, about Bamui to Bamui Lum nautical miles, off Land's End. A vague coordinate, the beginning of a search that would last for centuries. The disappearance of the Merchant Royal shook the House of Commons at the time. King Charles I called it the greatest loss ever suffered by a ship. But the pain of the Moorbaith century is the hope of the High Moormost. The waters off Cornwall are known as the graveyard of ships. Thousands of wrecks lie piled on top of each other, making finding the Merchant Royal like searching for a needle in a haystack.